Manchester United, a club so rich in history, talent, and global fame, yet season after season they underperform. It's become one of football's great mysteries. But what if I told you they already have everything they need to be great again? Stay with me until the end because I'll share what I believe is the one and only solution to United's problems. And it's not another £100 million signing. Let's ask a question that deserves to be asked. Outside of last season's Premier League top four, is there any club that wouldn't swap their entire squad for Manchester United's? I don't think there is. Now let's flip the script. What if Brighton had United's players last season? Where would they have finished? If your answer is in the Champions League, then we're already in agreement the squad isn't the issue. Buying more players won't fix this. United have spent over £1.2 billion since Sir Alex Ferguson left. That's more than almost any club in the world. So what's missing? To understand United's collapse, we need to talk about one word: culture. French philosopher Michel Foucault once said, "Everything humans do to survive is called civilization. The part of that civilization that's passed from generation to generation is culture." In football, clubs are part of the same global civilization, but their identity, their legacy, their soul, that's their culture. When you think of Real Madrid, you think of the Champions League. When Vinicius Jr. held up a 15 to Barcelona fans, he wasn't just mocking them. He was invoking a legacy. He knows where he is. He knows who came before him. Di Stefano, Zidane, Cristiano, that's culture. And every new coach who joins Real Madrid knows what success means at that club. There's no confusion. There's no debate. Win. That's the culture. Even Barcelona, despite financial chaos, still have a recognizable identity. They believe in La Masia, in positional play, in producing talent. When Hansi Flick took over, it wasn't just a managerial appointment. It was a continuation of an idea. Success in football is always relative. It depends on expectations.
But here's the tragedy.
United still call themselves a big club, yet their expectations, their identity, their values are all over the place. They've lost the bridge between past and present. Once upon a time, Manchester United stood for something. If you grew up in the 90s, the name meant late comebacks, homegrown legends, hard work over hype, a manager who knew what every player was for. Sir Alex didn't just build squads, he built systems. When he signed Park Ji-sung, people laughed, but he knew exactly where Park fit in. The same with Solskjaer. He knew he'd never be the star, but he'd win you the game in the 89th minute. No one was bigger than the team. They thought they were sold. Simple. And the fans? They believed in Fergie time. A match was never over. Comebacks weren't miracles. They were part of the plan. Now some will say, but Liverpool went decades without winning the league too. Yes, but they never lost their soul. Even during their title drought, Liverpool gave us the greatest Champions League final of all time. They gave us memories, drama, and hope. They produced club icons like Steven Gerrard, players who carried the badge like it was stitched into their skin. They didn't just sign Fernando Torres or Luis Suarez. They unleashed them. Torres was never better than in a Liverpool shirt. Suarez in 2013 to 14 played one of the greatest individual seasons the Premier League has ever seen. These weren't just players passing through. They became legends because the club gave them a platform to thrive. Even in their darkest years, Liverpool stayed exciting, stayed committed to attacking football, stayed true to who they were. And above all, they never abandoned what "you'll never walk alone" truly means. Manchester United, by contrast, are walking very much alone these days. So what should Manchester United do? Throw more money at the problem? Sack another manager? Hope a superstar signing fixes the cracks? No, that's just paint on a crumbling wall. If United want to return to greatness, they need three things all at once. 1, long-term investment in infrastructure, not just in buildings, but in training, medical, recruitment, and youth development. 2, real belief in homegrown talent, not just for PR or nostalgia, but because it builds identity and loyalty. 3, a coach who wants to build, not survive. Someone who sees the long view, not just the next press conference. Here's why this matters. At a club with real culture, a young academy player gets the benefit of the doubt. When they make mistakes, fans lean in, they encourage, they believe, because there's pride in watching one of your own grow. Take Kobe Mainu. When he has an average game, fans don't turn on him. Why? Because they see potential. They know he wants to be there, that he belongs. But now think of someone like Anthony, signed for nearly £90 million. From the first poor performance, the pressure was immense. Every misplaced pass became a meme. Every quiet game was labeled a failure. The moment he couldn't live up to the price tag, the environment turned toxic. This is the brutal truth. Expensive players don't get time. They get judged. And without a strong culture to support them, even brilliant footballers can collapse under the weight. Ferguson knew this. That's why he built around a core of players who came through the system. Gary Neville, Wes Brown, Darren Fletcher. Not all world-class, but all trusted and trusted by fans. The magic was never just about skill. It was about belonging. When you're part of something, when the badge means something, you run further, you fight harder. That's what United have lost. Not talent. They still have plenty of that. What they've lost is the environment that turns good players into great ones. And none of this will work unless the fans and the leadership start communicating again. That's the missing piece. Why was Barcelona able to rise again, even after financial ruin, internal chaos, and losing the greatest player in their history? Because of one key thing: the fans own the club, quite literally. The president is elected. The leadership is held accountable. The supporters don't just chant, they vote. And that creates a dynamic of respect. It creates dialogue. It forces long-term thinking. Now, Manchester United isn't structured that way. The fans don't have formal power. But does that mean they're powerless? Absolutely not. Because culture doesn't require ownership. It requires influence. And supporter groups have influence. They have voices. They have presence. And they have the power to shape the atmosphere around the club. If those voices demand clarity, demand patience, demand a project, eventually the message gets through. Just look at what happened when the Super League was proposed. United fans showed up. They were loud. They were united. And the club listened because they had to. This is what United need now. Not anger, but alignment. Not blind loyalty, but shared vision. Because here's the truth. You can't buy culture. Not even Manchester City or PSG, with all their trophies, have a fan base that truly defines the club's soul. They have success, yes, but identity, that's harder to fake. What United need is a project, a vision built on years, not windows. And the fans need to hear that message from the very top, with honesty, with humility, with clarity. Only when expectations are reset, only when the club and its supporters speak the same language, can the pressure lift and real change begin to grow.